Welcome to the Filthy Dad Pod, a place where three washed-up dads talk sports to the masses in between wiping asses. And you got two dads with you tonight, me and Derek. D, how you feeling after this Sunday, baby?
I'm feeling fantastic. That's with a PH too.
PH fantastic. And I'm not wasting no motherfucking time in telling everybody why we feel fantastic, because the MVP frontrunner, Jalen Hurts, won his game today in convincing fashion, while the other two, Mr. Mahomes and Tua. D, since you called the Tua loss, can you tell me what did Mahomes and Tua do that Hurts didn't do today?
They take what we call in Philadelphia L Boogie.
L Boogie. You know what MVPs don't do, Derek?
They don't lose on Sundays.
They don't lose on Sundays, just the occasional Monday. But I don't want to hear, for the time being, I do not want to hear anything else about the 3,500 passing yards. I don't want to hear about none of that shit, because one dude came in today and threw for almost 400 yards and put 4 total touchdowns and spanked an AFC playoff team. And the other two, one got spanked by an NFC team, and the other one just can't get over the hump, known as Tom Flynn and his Cincinnati Bengals. Look, I want to jump right. I don't want to waste no time. I want to jump right into Eagles Titans coming into the game. All three of us, me, you, and Tom, who can't be with us because I think he's a little. How are you still awake? Never went to sleep, but still hungover.
Listen, those
all three of us
get crazy, man.
Yo, they made the news. They were on the news.
Yeah, I seen that. That's what I'm saying. Those tailgates. Number one, tailgates are just crazy in general, and I mean, you know how our tailgates get. They get a little bit more crazy.
A little wild. So yeah, Tom was down celebrating a buddy of ours' birthday, and they wound up getting on the 6 ABC News, and it was a pretty cool little thing. Nice little tailgate they had going down there, and they brought the juice. They brought the energy to the stadium. We already talked about Jalen Hurts as the MVP frontrunner. A.J. Brown absolutely balled out against his former team in a game that we knew was going to be personal coming in. And with the chit chat from AJ to the Titans sideline, it was everything that we thought it was going to be. And most importantly, one of my biggest things coming into this game, and if you're a football fan, you understand going into this game what the Eagles need to do. The number one thing you have to do is you have to bottle King Henry and make Ryan Tannehill beat you. And that's exactly what Philadelphia was able to do. And listen, Tennessee had to commit to passing the ball because Henry wasn't doing shit. And look how many sacks the Eagles got. And look how pathetic the Titans offense looked, especially in that third quarter. I think they ended the quarter with like a yard or 2 yards or some shit like that.
Yeah, I mean, it like I said when I texted you earlier, I was locked into this game because this was a game that I had circled on the calendar. If we didn't take that L to the Commanders, I seriously thought this was a team, because you know their culture is defense, and they have a stout running game, which I mean that's the two things that the Commanders had in which they did beat us. So I don't think if we would have lost to them, I had this game circled as a huge game for us, and we prevailed. I mean, the defense looked amazing.
Beautiful.
I mean, King Henry, you know, Derrick Henry, kudos to him. He's a great running back, but we bottled him up. I mean, he could not get going for shit. And running backs like him, they have to keep running the ball so you can get that big body banging around all game, and he gets to thrive in that second half. But he didn't get going. They didn't get going. We started piling the points early, and they had to get the air attack going, which they didn't have. Our defense was stout. Our offense was even better than our defense.
Yep.
Which, I mean, again, we have a high-powered offense, and what made things even crazier than they already were beating this team, we rarely ran the rock again. We rarely ran the rock.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead, because I was just going to say, I mean, I know A.J. Brown had over 100 yards. If I'm not mistaken, Devontae Smith had over 100 yards. And if Quez didn't drop some balls, he probably may have been over 100 yards.
Yes, so Hurts totaled 380 yards, 3 touchdowns, and 119 went to AJ Brown with the 2 touchdowns. Devontae Smith caught 5 catches for 102 yards and a touchdown. And their third leading receiver was Jack Stoll. Listen, Jack Stoll's he's taken the targets, at least a portion of the targets that should be going to Dallas Goedert. So to think that this team against the Tennessee defense, that again, you knew that they weren't going to give nothing up. The Eagles had 67 total rushing yards, bro. They did get 2 touchdowns, but they had 67 yards coming off a game where they threw for 300 or they ran for 350 plus. Now, last week, they became, I forget what the stat was. They said it at the end of the game. They became one of the first teams in X amount of time to run for 350 in 1 week and then the following week throw for 350. And that's what we said coming into this game. That's one thing that I preached on Thursday was the Eagles are one of those teams. They do not care how they beat you as long as they beat you. They don't give a damn if it's Jalen Hurts throwing for 400. They don't care if it's Miles Sanders running for 150 and Jalen running for 150. It's a win is a win. And they came out and you said that our defense looks stout. They did look stout. You know who didn't look stout? The offensive line. And I'm pissed off at them because they all went to Stoutland University and that game, that first half, I was talking to myself in the kitchen at halftime, acting as if I was on this podcast, right? And I was like, this is the reason. This first half, even though we were winning, and even though I had no worry about Tennessee beating us at that point, because even though we had been playing so terribly, we still had to lead, right? But even with us winning and even with us looking pretty good, that offensive line and all the offensive penalties were killing us. And I was just thinking to myself, this is why the national perception of the Eagles isn't what it should be, because they're not going to blow this team out because they keep fucking committing these stupid penalties that are drive killers. These aren't them little ticky-tack penalties. I got a list of them, bro. Look, who was it? On offense, they had 5 first-half false start penalties. They had multiple holds. One of them wiped out a bomb to Quez Watkins, which turned out to be a defensive pass interference. They had to use a timeout to avoid a delay of game early in the game. Miles Sanders gets a nice rush, wiped away by an illegal shift. It was either Devontae Smith or A.J. Brown. Jack Stoll makes a big catch. He makes a huge catch in the first half. What's he do the very next play? False start. And now we're 5 yards behind on that drive. And then on the opposite side, it wasn't just the offense. As bad as the offense was with penalties, the Eagles gave up 1 touchdown today. They stopped. That defense gave up 0 according to me. They stopped on a crucial 3rd and 4. They stopped the Titans, and the Titans were in a position they were either going to kick a field goal or maybe they punt. I think they were around like that 35 to 40-yard line range. And Josh Sweat wound up jumping off sides, and that led to a touchdown for the Titans. And that was the one that Treylon Burks caught, and he got cracked. It was good to see him up walking around afterwards, but he took a crazy hit. The penalties slowed us down.
I was talking to, I was watching the game with a couple of my friends and stuff like that. And I was saying, like, you don't think like these guys mean to do that. Like the game is so fast. These dudes are running so fast. It's like a bang bang play, It's not like he means to crack this guy and put him out the game,
No. There was a lot of plays today to where there was at least 2 or 3 where I seen penalties get called that I was like, I know I got one noted in one of the later games, but yeah, they listen. It's they're gonna protect the players. It's quarterbacks too. It's not just the ball catchers and stuff. It's quarterbacks and they're just trying to protect these offensive players that can't get their head around fast enough or whatever the case may be. But some of the calls are a little ticky tacky. He did catch him right up under the chin, and that combined with his head hitting the ground. I mean, obviously, I don't know how the hell he held on to that ball.
Yeah, it's pretty.
It was. But the Eagles just listen. Everybody talks about this schedule, right? Everybody talks about this schedule and how easy it is, and I'm just like, dude, one, you can't just keep going back to the schedule argument because these teams that we've beat are beating other teams, and now you get a team like Tennessee, who they did lose to the Bengals last week, who now look like they're fucking world beaters. They're back to the AFC Supreme, but 2 weeks ago, this Titans team was a good football team. Everybody was, they were 7-2, 7-3. They were rolling. They got Tannehill back, and they were winning games. They stumbled to the Bengals. They get smacked by us, and now, one of the first things I seen on a buddy of mine's page, he wrote something about the schedule thing and beating the Titans, and somebody came on and was like, "Oh, well, the Titans ain't even really all that," and it's like, all right, so now we're just going to carry it to every team that we beat. So for all that, we might as well not play another game this season. We might as well just
Go
what's
straight
the
to the
point?
playoffs and
Go
go to the playoffs and show it in the playoffs.
stop the season right now. Just stop the season. There's no point in playing if every time you beat a team, somebody's going to turn around and say, "Well, that team sucked." Well, that team sucks. So what? If we went up against the Bills and we beat them, what are you going to do? Say the Bills suck? Come on, man.
Yeah, that's
That shit.
that's the one thing I hate, like the whole schedule thing, because number one, it's any given Sunday, and like you said,
It is.
there's teams that we beat where they beat good teams and we beat them, and we've beaten good teams too. Look at Minnesota. We spanked them.
Yep.
We beat we beat the Cowboys whether they had Dak or not. Like we beat good teams and we beat teams that beat good teams.
Yep.
I mean,
And
today
we
the
lose.
Raiders beat the Chargers. Would people think the Raiders are better than the Chargers? No, I do
That
because I love the
that charge.
Chargers. I mean the Raiders.
You've been all over the Raiders from the rip, and I don't know what it is. I don't know why the infatuation with the Raiders with you this year. You've never been affiliated with them before, but they're looking like the team now. So now they flip-flopped with me with the Chargers. The Chargers were that team that was on the AFC playoff cusp, and I was like, oh, that team could get hot. And now it's like, okay, well, this Raiders team, if they continue to get production from Josh Jacobs like they have been, this team's gonna be tough to beat.
Dude, the
And
Raiders are the AFC team. They are the AFC Lions. That's who the Raiders are. Defense. Granted, defense isn't as good as the Lions, but I feel like they're two teams that should be better than they are right now. So
yeah,
the Raiders are
I,
my Lions. Because you love the Lions. You were
I
on the
do.
Lions train, then you jumped off. Now you're back on.
I I didn't jump off. It was my stop. I had to get off, go home, grab a couple things, and then come back. And that's pretty much
It
that's
was one
pretty
of those
much
things
what
where
I
it's like, damn, I've been rocking with them this whole season, and then bang, soon as you go home and you go get your coffee, they're like, oh, they're back. Oh shit, let me run
the
over here
train
and
the train fucking
right,
left me at the station, and now I'm in my
right.
car trying to catch the train again.
Yeah, they left you right at the 69th Street stop.
They did. And listen, I'm happy to see it. Detroit is I said that they were a quarterback away from Jared Goff is playing some of the best football I think I've seen from a quarterback in a long time, especially in a Detroit uniform since they got rid of Stafford. And even his last couple of years there weren't anything, to write home about. But I was talking to a Lions fan earlier in Sippo, and I told him, I said, I'm waiting for, I will completely, because the Lions were I told him, I said, outside of a Philly team, the Lions became one of my first loves outside of Philly way back when I lived with Uncle Ricky on Cottage Street because I played Madden 2000 and Barry Sanders was that dude. And it was just one of those, I play with
That
the
fucking
Lions all the
cheat
time.
code.
I
That's what
like
he
the
was.
Lions, right? Exactly. So yeah, he was fucking disgusting. So I was telling the dude, I was like, look, you guys are gonna be okay when I love Jared Goff, but he's got to play. They need a new quarterback. But when Dan Campbell goes and they promote Deuce Staley, and when they go and get a quarterback, when they do those, Campbell gone, Deuce steps up and go get a quarterback. Man, that team is going to be vicious. That's going to be a sleeper team.
Yeah, but I would like to
All
see Dan Campbell at least another year or two just to get that culture right, because he's kind of that, punch you in the mouth type football guy. I like that. I really do.
He is, and he's not afraid to, he's not afraid to look crazy or be fucking as
Exactly.
wild as he's. Yeah, and that's
He's
sometimes
not.
that's what
He's not
football
going to be
teams
that.
need.
He's right, and he's not going to be that guy that sits there, in front of the press and gives them what they want to hear. Oh well, today we didn't show up to play. No, he's going to hold people accountable, including
Mhm.
himself. And I like that about football. I don't like that bottled in player or coach where they're in front of press and they got to say the things that their PR team wants them to say. And I like real, just like this podcast is real. I like the same shit
Mhm.
out of my sports figures.
Look, so let's transition right into Detroit. They smacked the Jags, and this was a game. This was a game coming in that people like. This was a. Did you and Tom took the? I fucked up on the graphic, but you and Tom took the Jags. Am I right?
I did.
Tom took the Jags too. He corrected me in our group chat. So you and Tom took the Jags. I was all over the Lions, and they came out 40-14 was the final score. They did not punt today.
They
Jamal
mopped them.
Williams grabs Jamal Williams grabbed his league leading 14th touchdown. They scored on their first, all five of their first half drives. They went in up, what was it, 17 at the half, and that was just pretty much, that was pretty much it.
Yeah.
Trevor
You
Lawrence
could
went down with a
you could
bad.
you could just you could just tell by the pace of game, like just how like the Eagles in the Titans game, you kind of knew after sort of the second quarter how it was gonna go. This game felt like that after the first quarter. That
Yeah.
how much the Lions were up for this game, which is kind of weird against a Jags team, but I think the Jags are a young team coming up. I think Trevor Lawrence is gonna be pretty good. I think their defense is okay, but I just think this Lion team I think they're trying to save jobs. That's what I think. Because you think, you want Dan Campbell out and everything. I think if they continue to stay on this trend, I think he doesn't go.
Well,
I,
yeah.
I
So
think
that he's
I'm thinking that he's gonna they want to hold the core people together. Even though I don't know what they're doing with DeAndre Swift, but they want to hold the core people together and they're gonna give it another go next season. Which I think they draft a nice lineman or something, a nice offensive lineman, give a little bit more protection for Jared Goff or another weapon, on the offensive side. I think they'll be a pretty decent team next.
yeah, yeah, I agree. Real quick, I want to just as the comments come in, Jimmy G with a broken foot, Niners season over. Did you watch the game? That team, Jimmy G, and this is to Sean. Jimmy G is the quarterback that was holding that team back. Jimmy G
I
is the
agree.
reason I didn't take the Niners over the Dolphins because I trusted Tua more than I trusted Jimmy G. But it turns out I needed to trust Purdy. It doesn't matter who the 49ers quarterback is, Sean. They're going to be a force to be
Nope.
reckoned with
All
regardless.
they need
But
is all they need is a game manager. But go ahead, we'll get to that game. We'll get to it.
exactly. Let's stay on here. Jared Goff, 31 for 41, 340 yards, 2 touchdowns. And what have we been calling for from Detroit for the last couple weeks? What have as Philly natives, what have we been talking about? DeAndre Swift, 14 carries, 62 yards, a touchdown, 4 receptions, 49 yards, no touchdowns in the receiving game, but he puts up over 100 yards. He was close. I think he was second in total yards from skill players behind Amon-Ra St. Brown, who blew up today, 11 catches, 114 yards, 2 touchdowns. And Detroit just put together a complete game. They got 31 first downs to Jacksonville's 14. So where you say that defense stepped up, the defense was able to get off the field. Listen, third down is where the games are won. Do you agree? Third down is the money
One
plays.
1,000%, 1,000%.
Detroit, they both had 12 attempts on third down. Detroit went 8 for 12. Jacksonville went 3 for 12. You
That's
can't
just
tell me that's not a direct
ridiculous.
correlation of the difference of the game.
Yeah,
Jacksonville
that's
won the
what
turnover battle
that's 75% conversion rate. If my math is
for
right.
for Detroit. Yeah. Listen, how do you win? You're almost tied in the Russian category. You win the turnover differential, but they got mopped in time of possession, 36 minutes to 23. And again, they just couldn't sustain drives. And Trevor Lawrence, I had texted you and Tom, and I overreacted. I said, Trevor Lawrence, his season is done. And that was before the broadcast said anything. I
Yeah.
watched it live and I watched the
Yeah,
replay, and then I went on Twitter. Go ahead.
no, I was gonna say once you sent me the video, I kind of watched it. I thought the same thing. It looked like his
It
leg
looked,
went in three different directions, and I don't even know if it's
bro,
possible.
and that was a big boy falling on him. That wasn't a like.
Yeah,
So I was under the assumption without any reports, anything, just first glance, I was like, that motherfucker's done. And then,
dude,
sure enough, he comes back, and I'm just like, this dude. What were you about to say?
I'm just saying, I like this Lions team. At this point of the season, I honestly wish that they had more winnable that they would have won more winnable games than they had in the beginning. Because I think that they had a chance if anybody has a chance in the playoffs, but I think they would have had a great chance. But I like this Lions team playing right now with the confidence they are, because it's like they're playing with house money. There's really nothing on the
I
line. They're just going out there playing. No, nothing's on their shoulders. They're just going out and playing. And if they would have played like this in the beginning, yeah, from the first
bro.
game when we played them, it's crazy.
That's what Avery says to me today. That's who's in the comments right now. He's our Detroit fan I was talking to earlier. Avery says to me, "Oh well, this Lions team, something about the Eagles barely beating the Lions," and I'm like, "Bro, you're barking up the wrong tree here." Especially in week 1. I was parading around Philly. Yo, be careful. Yo, be careful. Yo, the Lions are nasty. You're barking up the wrong tree because I am a Lion believer. Rawr. I believe in the Lions more than I believe in the Giants, the Commanders, the Seahawks. Like, but they gotta put it together.
That's
They
what I
gotta
thought. I
win.
thought, yeah, and that's the thing. Like, after that first week when we played them, and we were kind of talking about it, even before. I think it was before even the podcast. You were just saying like, "Yo, this Lions team, this defense is good. They score, and then they just go and shit the bed, which is it's a shocker to me."
Look, it was their defense came out ready to play from the rip. What was it? It was either the first or second drive. I was very tuned into the Eagles game and trying to multitask, which I'm
Yeah,
becoming pretty good at. But it was either the first or the second drive. I think it was the first one where they stripped the Lions forced an early turnover on a fumble. I forget who forced the fumble, but the Jags, they fumbled earlier, and then that's the one that Goff gets them down there. That's even the other thing. Is like the touchdown to Jamal Williams. That was Jared Goff getting them down the field. Goff played.
yeah.
Listen, and I've been a critic of Jared Goff from the beginning. I think we all have because he's direct. It was the first play. It was the second play of the game. ETN fumbled. It was Elliott who caused it. But shit, right out of that, bro, they come out. Goff hits Khalif Raymond, and then Goff hits a couple other receivers, gets them right down the field, and as he always does, Jamal Williams gets an easy walk-in touchdown. He gets all the credit. But I've been a critic. I've been a critic of I'm sorry, I was kind of reading the comment a little bit. I've been a critic of Jared Goff in the beginning because of the direct correlation between him and Philly, which was him versus Carson Wentz. They were linked
Right.
1 and 2 through the draft. They battled in. They were the two juggernaut teams the year that we won the Super Bowl, and there were the teams. Listen, them two are always going to be tied in at the hip, and Jared Goff he never took that step. He got his team to the Super Bowl. They didn't win, but he never took that step. And I'm not saying he's taken that step, but he's at least showing Detroit, hey, if we win some games this year and you guys aren't able to get a good draft pick and you guys aren't able to sign Lamar or pry him away from the Ravens, keep building this team. And I'm going to turn into Jimmy G, and I'm not going to lose you games. But Goff, right. That's all you got to do. They can be the 49ers. They put some pieces on the field there, bro. If they put some pieces on the field in Detroit, they can be the next team like the 49ers. And I'm not saying that they're going to be as good as that team, but they could be a team that can be good enough with a roster around them to overcome their quarterback's deficiencies. And maybe they don't need to go break the bank on a quarterback. Houston is the dude that twisted Trevor Lawrence like a pretzel. 5th round pick, second game now. 3 sacks. Rodriguez, 5th round pick this year. Lions winning the draft these days, and that's going to be key for their future. I think trashing Goff when we don't win is an easy scapegoat. He's not as bad as people want him to be for the sake of having something. I agree. And I'm very much I judge teams off of how their quarterbacks play, but your team, I mean, I don't have a reason to judge them bad because Goff's been playing great. But the 49ers, I apologize to J.O.B. and Brad and all these. I apologize. I will never. And listen, you said it in text messages, D. We'll get into that. But it was great to see the Lions pick up a big. And listen, I'm not saying that they're going to go ahead and make the playoffs. But in terms of seeding, 1 through 16, 15, 16, because the Chicago Bears have officially been eliminated from the playoffs, as have the Houston Texans. But in ranks of 1 through 16, bro, they're sitting at the 9th seed. They're just 2 games behind the Seahawks to get in at that 7 seed. Who the Seahawks jumped in. Yeah, the Seahawks jumped the foreskins because of that tie. But bro, it's if the Lions get into the playoffs, put it this way. Jason Avery, if you're here, if the Lions get into the playoffs, I'm getting a Detroit Lion tattooed on my leg. No. Don't quote me. I got too many other teams. I don't even got an Eagles tattoo, and I can't. I
Ryan,
can't.
I'll tell you this though. If the Lions were to make the playoffs, I'd be more afraid to play the Lions than any other NFC team.
Not the 49ers.
Not the Niners. Not the Niners.
I
wait.
will.
Dependent on. So listen, this is my whole thing with backup quarterbacks. I believe in backup quarterbacks getting into a, coming into a game as the game's going on than starting a game, because the team doesn't game plan for a backup quarterback. So let's see, because supposedly Jimmy G's season is over. Let's see how this quarterback plays going forward, and then I'll base my comment off of.
Yeah. Listen, I think again, I don't want to dive too much into that because we got it, but we got it coming up later. But let's finish off the Lions point. Defense first 6 games versus defense in the past 6 night and day. No idea what got into the Lions, and I'm gonna show you because I responded to you in the comments. Aiden Hutchinson, and I want to shout that out because Tom's not here, and that's Tom's guy. Tom's been a Hutchinson guy from the rip. And Aiden Hutchinson and those Detroit Lions, they are playing defense. Jared Goff is a beast. He is the third best quarterback in the league. I'm gonna give you quarterback rankings. Number 1 is Jalen Hurts. Number 3 is Jared Goff. Do you know who number 2 is, D?
Jalen Hurts.
No, it's Mike White. It's Mike White. And my man showed out today.
Transition. I see the transition. That's what it was.
That's what it was. I'm getting good at this thing.
Good transition. Good you are.
Listen.
Let's talk about it. Let's talk about your man, Mike White, because that's your boy. That's your boy.
What do you want to talk about? Do you want to talk about how he fucking won the game and Braxton Berrios lost it?
Or
Robert Saleh's play caller?
No, I think it was Berrios. I think so. This is what I think about the Berrios plays. I think that it was thrown a little behind, but it was a ball where he placed it where only Berrios had a chance at it.
That's what you got to do.
Nobody else had a chance at it besides Berrios. And for this guy to march down the field like that and give you a chance, and you just drop a ball like that is just. Because again, like I said, I was so locked into the Eagles game. I was trying to bounce back and forth. I only caught some of the ending of this game. And it's like the Jets, they just had chance after chance. I believe they had 2 chances. The first one, I think the second one, Mario's won.
Listen, Mike White, for what it is, and I don't want to give too. He threw the ball 57 times today, and as much as a white knight, Mike White believer I am, I don't think throwing the ball 60 times with Mike White is the fucking answer. Well, they threw it 57 times with him, and Garrett Wilson got credited for an attempt. But
I mean, we could talk about their drafting has been that this last draft has been very good for them. It's been very good.
So listen, I was off base when I said if you hold, I was ready to guarantee if they held Justin Jefferson, that was one of my focal points on the game. Hold Jefferson under 50 and you got a chance. And they did. They held him to 45 yards. He did get a touchdown, but they held him in check. I don't care. I've watched the numbers that this dude put up. Sauce won. I don't care that they lost the game. Sauce won that matchup. And a couple of his catches weren't even on Sauce. They were on number 28 for what's his name. But, bro, Mike White came into the game. He did ball out. I want to finish my point on him. 369 yards. But what he did today that he didn't do last week was the interceptions. He did turn the ball over twice. And as much as I want to give my guy an out, I can't. Listen, the first one was a tipped pass, hit his wide receiver. It's a little bit behind, goes up in the air, and who grabbed it? Was it Harrison Smith or one of those dudes grabbed it?
I mean, granted, the last interception was last play of the game type of thing.
Yeah. It's tough because
what I say is the one big thing, Ryan. This team They're right now they're slapping Zach Wilson because they're playing for this guy.
They
This is
are.
the team's guy right now. This is the team.
Did
This Mike White. This is the Jets guy. Not the organization, the team, the guys, the players on the team. They're up for this guy.
Yep. So did you see them get off the? Did you see them get off the bus and get to the stadium today? And they're all wearing. A lot of them are wearing Mike White T-shirts.
Yeah. I didn't see it, but
They
you
were
guys were talking about it.
they were wearing Mike White T-shirts, and Michael Irvin on when I was watching this morning NFL whatever it is. Michael Irvin had pointed out he was like, "Listen, supporting a guy is one thing, but when your starting quarterback is now out." And then the backup comes in, and now the team is wearing the backup shirts after one game. That shows you that there's more than just his. It's not just his play that's affecting his status in New York. It's the locker room issue. I think that, and we got into a pretty I wouldn't call it heated, but a good discussion. Me and Tom and earlier on today about is Zach Wilson done? And I guess earlier in the week or a couple weeks ago, I had said, no, he's not done in New York. But obviously, I've been riding the Mike White train since the beginning of last week. And I'm still not sure if Zach Wilson's done in New York. But this is making it. One thing I did say when Zach Wilson got benched, I said in very New York Jet fashion, Mike White is going to come in. And he's going to, and I thought Mike White initially, I think my initial response to him was, well, the Jets are kind of screwed. And then I remember at the end of this segment, I can go find it. I was like, hey, just because it's the Jets, not because I thought Mike White was good, but just because it's the Jets, the thing that would happen for the Jets is this dude, Mike White, would come in and play good. The whole locker room would rally around him. And then Zach Wilson's the odd man out. And then Mike White goes back and shows what he really is. And now, you put that dude on Gilligan's Island by himself. Mike White's not the answer, and now you have a Zach Wilson who is probably going to get benched for the rest of the season. And I mean, he's not even active for these games. There's not even a chance for him to come in if Mike White looks like shit. They're completely sold on this team moving forward with Mike White, and I think that if he continues to play good, it's going to look like a great move for them. But if he stinks it up and comes crashing back to earth, like I think most people probably expect, then you can that's going to be a tough situation for the Jets. So I am riding high on the Mike White train, but I don't know for how long. And on the other side, I don't want to take away some shot. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna just preface that on, Mike White is what the Jets kind of need. They just need a game manager. He could be this team could I'm saying this team could be in that Preffler of the 49ers, the Lions, because their defenses are just crazy. They have great defenses. But then you have people like when Zach Wilson was in, the mistakes that he made, they were costly mistakes. Because you're giving the ball right back, say for instance, the defense gets a huge stop, and then you got Zach Wilson throwing a duck and interception. Now you got the defense right back on the field, who's probably gassed because they just, played a huge series. They just shut down a high-flying offense. So I think Mike White, again, maybe not moving forward. I was thinking that the Zach Wilson thing was just a slap on the wrist. All right, we're going to keep him out a couple games, show him that he's not the man. Like, you're not Patrick Mahomes. You're not, the guys of these caliber where you can just think you're that guy. And that's the problem. He thinks, I was a high pick coming out of a small school in BYU, and I'm that guy. But you're not Himothy, bro. You are not him.
No.
You're not that guy.
What's up with these smaller and BYU is a little bit bigger than like the North Dakota States and stuff like that. But what's up with these small school quarterbacks getting big recognition and then coming in and stinking it up? Look, Carson had his flash in the pan, and then you see where he is now. Trey Lance has got 49ers fans asking for Jimmy Garoppolo back. He's also out of North Dakota State. And then you got the BYU guy. I mean, listen, I know they're not as small, but they're
and Malik Willis.
Too. And Malik, yeah. So you got I think you might see a little bit of a trend of these teams kind of staying away from. I mean, but then you got the other guys. You got fucking USC who put out Sam Darnold and guys like Matt Leinart and stuff. So I guess it's
Yeah,
everyone.
but
It's kind of hit,
the
hit or
problem
miss.
is that those dudes are playing NFL ready guys though. Like whoever's playing
Yeah.
Georgia, they're playing NFL defense basically. Those dudes are ready for
The
the league.
closest, yeah, the closest thing. Alabama,
Right,
Georgia, those teams, yeah,
exactly.
they're the closest thing you're going to see to NFL. But yeah, when you're in North Dakota State or BYU and you're beating up on Central Connecticut State, like, come on, bro.
Right.
All right,
They're not
so
even in MAC division.
no, but the yeah, exactly. So and then on the other side, the Vikings, we haven't seen this team shut down like this. Really, they had a great second quarter. But outside of that, I mean, they had seven. They looked like the Eagles in the second quarter. They were shut out in the third quarter, and they get that touchdown in the fourth that would prove to be the game winner. But the Jets had every opportunity, and this is where I said to our resident Incippo, the resident Vikings fan, my buddy Jeff, I said to him, bro, I feel like I have the fucking pulse of this Vikings team. I feel like I know what this Vikings team is going to do. When everybody was doubting them, I had them ranked number 2 behind the Eagles. I had them beating Buffalo when nobody did. They did that. Then I was like, nope, they're losing to Dallas. They get smacked by Dallas. I didn't think they were going to get smacked. Then I'm back on the train, and this week I was off. I said, nope, this team is not going to beat that Jets team. Kirk is not going to show up against. Listen, there's a formula, there's a specific mold of a defense that will beat the Vikings. And it's any defense above a top 10. And the Eagles, the Cowboys, and the Jets all have that. Eagles and Cowboys, they were able to beat the Vikings. The Jets with Mike White, this fucking close. So when people ask me, why do you not believe in the Vikings so much? It's because they almost lose games to Mike White. It's because they get blown out by the Cowboys in their home stadium. It's because early in the season, every time they step up and they play a big team, they get fucking bullied. They get bullied. Disgusting. Mike White bald, and I hope he isn't the Jets starter, but he should be without question. Now that is pretty sure that's a Boston. That's a Patriots fan not wanting Mike White as the starter. So even Bill, listen, Mike White, what's his age? Let me get an age check on Mike White, because Bill Belichick, he likes to take advantage of the young quarterbacks in the league. Mike
All right,
White,
while you're
how
checking,
old is this guy?
while you're checking them,
27. Never
okay,
rattled.
that's prime. That's prime age. That's a good age. That's a good age. But you know what I love about this Vikings team?
What's that?
That they're winning right now.
They are.
Because these are the only wins that they're going to get. They're not getting it done in the playoffs, and you can quote me on that. Because they're winning these ticky-tack games. Like, Jets have 486 total offensive yards, and the Vikings only have 287. The only two differences were the 2 interceptions that Mike White threw. So if he doesn't throw,
the one was late.
The one was late, but if he turns that, the second interception or even the first interception for that matter into a touchdown, we're talking about a different outcome in this game.
So I will give Minnesota credit where credit is due. They faced and we talked about this in the earlier game. In the Lions Jags game, the Vikings had 18 third down attempts. They converted 9 of them at 50%. The Jets had 16. They only converted 3. So that's a big part of it. And to think this team got smoked like that on third down efficiency. They got beat in they lost the turnover battle. They lost the penalty battle. They got out rushed, and they still only lost by 5, and they had a chance to win it at the end. That tells me this game tells me more about the Vikings than it does the Jets, although it tells me a shit ton on both teams. Honestly, the Jets are another team that's a quarterback away, and it sucks because they thought they had their quarterback, but maybe they do. Maybe they're starting a trend. There's some teams that are so good and they got such good defenses that they don't need a good quarterback. Now, I don't think Detroit falls in that. As much as I did say that, I'm kind of thinking of it a little bit. Detroit's defense has been playing great, but the Jets and the 49ers, they have great defenses. They're not defenses. Oh, they played great. No, they are great defenses. They didn't just play good this week or the last 6 weeks. They've been playing good all year. So New York got a problem on their hands, and the Mike White. Mike White's looking like he's the answer for now, but is he going to stay the answer? And then the other New York team just tied Washington, and that throws a big fucking wrench in.
And like a couple episodes again, like I said, I just didn't believe in this Giants team. I mean, I didn't believe in them.
Frauds.
Again, if you look at, you can just look at the stats. I said it, that Saquon Barkley was going to eventually slow down. They beat him up, and been historically, when you have a running back that you're just constantly feeding the ball, he's getting beaten up throughout the season. He's an injury-prone guy from the beginning. I mean, this is what you get. He didn't have, again, I don't even think he had over 80 yards today. It looks like Daniel Jones outrushed him. 12 carries, 71 yards, and Saquon had 18 carries for 63 yards. So again, I don't think this Giants team is. I don't think they'll be in the playoffs. I'm going to say it. I think that this losing trend is just going to continue. They were hot in the beginning. I think they lose 3 or 4 straight.
They have lost quite a few. They were 7-2. They lost 2 and they tied 1. I'm pretty sure. But so if you think, I'm waiting for the NFL to get rid of ties, bro. We tied the Eagles.
You know what I would love. You know what I would love to see. I would love to see the NFL just go with the college way, which I don't think they'll ever do, just because of timing purposes. But I think it would make the game more interesting instead of playing another quarter or whatever and ending up with a tie. Like, who wants a tie? They've been preparing for this game for a week, and they have to hang their hats on a tie.
But they do get to run it back again in 2 weeks. They got that weird schedule where the Giants, the Commanders, they play the Giants. They got a bye week, and then they play the Giants again. And the Giants play the Commanders, Philly, Commanders. So it's not getting any easier for the Giants. But I want to be the first to say the Giants always play the Eagles tough. So don't expect what we did to the Titans today. It's an NFC East matchup. It's going to be a tough one. But Philly should whoop their asses. Both teams were putrid on third down. 3 for 14 for Washington, 4 for 13 from New York. But where Washington, it was weird. It was like if you combined these two teams, they had a great game, right? Washington had a good first quarter. Washington had a good first quarter. New York had the second and third quarter, and then Washington had the fourth quarter. And that's just what it was. That's just what it was. Each team controlled a quarter, and they didn't just win. They controlled the quarters, and it turns out, it just turned into what the fuck it was. It was a tie. Ties are terrible for the sport of football. They're terrible for the World Cup, too. We don't want to talk about that. Our team got eliminated, but whatever. Another young quarterback who has just continued to protect the ball. Look, all three of us took Pittsburgh coming into this game. Kenny Pickett and Tomlin, they got each other's ear. Tomlin has told him, ever since TJ Watt got back, let the defense make some plays, give the ball to I remember saying with TJ Watt out, Pittsburgh needs Watt back, because when Watt is in the game, this dude is a game changer. Not only does he make the defense better, he makes the whole team better. And what happens when TJ Watt comes back? Najee Harris just woke up. He just remembered how to play football, and now Najee Harris is he's balling again. Like, he's not having these dominating games that maybe, but he's effective. 17 carries, 86 yards for them today. That rushing attack was effective. Kenny Pickett was efficient, and the defense played great football. They held Atlanta to 6 points at halftime, and then the offense faded in the second half. They only put up 3 points, but I can't give them hate for that, because that's a lot of times what the Eagles are wind up doing is they beat a team in the first half, and then they come back and they kind of slow it down in the second half and they play a little bit of keep away. And it seems like now it was a much closer game. They really didn't have the opportunity. It was what 16-6 at halftime, but they did what the fuck they needed to do to win. Kenny
And you know
Pickett
what I love?
protected the ball.
You know what
What
I
do you
love
love?
about Najee getting going? That
What?
TOP, time of possession.
What was
Pittsburgh
the
had the
stat
ball for
there?
32 minutes, well, 33, and Atlanta had it for 27 minutes. You got to keep the ball out the other team's hand. Like I've been saying from the beginning of the season, that's how you win. Time of possession. Get Najee
Yep.
Harris going, get the run game going, keep that clock rolling, and look, these are the outcomes from those type of games.
This was one of those games that I feel like you could look at on paper, right? And this is what I did, and this is what you and Tom did. This is why we all chose Pittsburgh, right? Atlanta has a shitty defense, and typically any team going up against the Falcons, whether it's the Lions, go look at all the previews I've given out of the Falcons the last couple weeks. I'm always on board when they play the Chargers, when they play the Bears. I'm always on board with saying this game is going to be a high score because Atlanta could put up some points when they need to play catch up, and their defense is just trash. But this is one where you got Pickett, who Tomlin obviously doesn't trust enough to. It's not no. Let me rephrase that. It's not that he doesn't trust him. He does trust him, and you know what he trusts him to do? He trusts him to play smart football. That's more the point I was trying to get across. And again, both these teams, the rushing was close. It was within 8 yards of each other, and it's third down. Pittsburgh was able to get off the field. They got him into some third and longs, and Mariota is not that dude. Atlanta has a quarterback problem. I don't think Pittsburgh has a quarterback problem. I think they just got the young guy who they're trying to slowly bring along. And listen, they're winning. They won their last two games. The game before that was the game versus the Bengals that they didn't win, but they fucking took the Bengals to the brink, who just beat the Chiefs. It's NFL is wild. That's why I don't respect the schedule argument that the schedule's this or schedule's that. Because if that's the case, then why are these other teams losing? Why did the Vikings almost lose to the Jets? And I know almost doesn't count, but why did the fucking Steelers damn near beat the Bengals, who now look like world beaters? I don't get it. You know what else I don't understand? How a city that can be so vicious. I've been to this city and I went, oh, you know what? One second. I want to get to something. D, what did you want to get to something real quick?
Yeah, I wanted to just get to the Dan Woods comment. Philly's gonna stomp the Giants. Just make sure Tom doesn't make it his lock of the week. Dan, this is our secret. We let Tom pick the Tom Flynn lock of the week, so the other team can lose. So he would never put Philly as his lock of the week.
If you haven't realized, yo, the Tom Flynn lock of the week is struggling. It's 2-4. It's two and
struggle.
four. And I took a second mortgage out this week. No, I didn't take a second mortgage out, but I did tell people to take a second mortgage out. And for that, if you did, I apologize, but it's on you. No money back guarantee.
Yeah. Gamble
right,
responsibly,
so
people.
please gamble responsibly. But back to my city comment that I was making. I've been to this city before, and I got out and I took a picture at a very it was the Shameless house, the Gallagher house in Shameless. And I got out, I took a picture there, and the Uber driver was like, look, get out, take a picture, get the hell back in the car, and let's get out of here. This part of the city is not where you want to be, and this city is tough, right? And I'm like, okay. And of course, I'm talking about Chicago. And this city is tough. This city is they're the murder capital of the world. Not that that translates to Philly, but it's just they remind me so much of Philly. The mentality is rough. Everybody's like, you say something
Blue
like this, like
collar.
I'm ready to.
Right.
Huh? Yes, exactly. And imagine this was the argument I had with Colin earlier. Imagine Tony Romo Tony Romo with a Super Bowl ring coming into Philly, beating the Eagles, looking at the crowd and saying, I own you. And then the next year, because we're tanking, um, they come back and this could be now listen, I've been preaching it. This could be Rodgers' last game in Soldier Field as a Packer, because I'm not sold that he's coming back there. I think they're going to figure out a way to get him out of there, both sides. But imagine that happening in Philly. Let Rodgers come in and say what he said, and then in his last game, you let him come in and beat you. I don't give a damn about the tank. I don't care about the tanking. You can lose one game and still get a top 3 pick to go get the kid from Alabama or the kid, whoever you want. You can still do that, and you can send Aaron Rodgers packing with a fucking L, and instead you lose. And when I talked to the dude Colin, who's a Bears fan in Sippo, he said, "Oh, you obviously didn't watch the game." No, I watched a lot of that game, and I watched where your quarterback looked good, and I watched where your team looked good, and I watched that bomb to N'Keal Harry that he caught, and the other. I watched it. I know you guys were shorthanded and Mooney wasn't there. Eddie Jackson. I understand. I pay a Derek. You've been with me since the beginning of this. I've been covering the Chicago Bears since we started this podcast. You've had the Raiders. Tom had the Bengals. I've been dubbed with following the Bears around. I've gotten them every week. I've had to break them down, previews and recap. I've been watching this team, and I've been calling for a dub from Justin Fields, and he still doesn't do it. He's soft. The city of Chicago is soft. And you guys are some losers. I'm pissed off at Chicago right now, bro.
No, listen, I like you just said, you've been not levying for them because I mean they're the Bears, but you've been saying this. Can Justin Fields win this team? Can he win them a game? And he just hasn't been able to finish. He has not at all. How do they let the Packers come back and score 18 points in the fourth quarter? This is a depleted Green Bay Packers team who I don't think the coach gets along. I'm not even gonna lie to you. I've been moving from my old house and moving into a new house, and I really haven't been following football because I just been moving too much. I seriously picked the Green Bay Packers thinking that the Bears up and Jordan Love was playing this game. And when I seen everybody that was playing, I'm like, oh shit, the Bears are probably gonna win this game. Like Justin Fields is gonna run all over this Packers defense that's fucking Swiss cheese. They're not cheese heads, they're Swiss cheese, this defense.
Yep.
And they were gonna win the game. And then once they got what was it, 16-3 at one point, I'm like, they're about to roll this team. I was like, I don't know. And I was honestly already thinking about coming on here and be like, is Aaron Rodgers done or not? And even though, we could still have that conversation, today or tomorrow, but the Green Bay Packers, they did what they do. They came back and they won the game. It's Aaron Rodgers. He kind of owns the NFC North per se.
He does, bro. And that was my biggest thing was not it. Listen, I understand. Oh, and that was my other point that I'm going to get to real quick. I understand the whole tanking thing and losing and whatever, but there's certain games that you got to show up for. And
listen,
then,
right. Just real quick, but I hate to cut you off. Nobody anything about tanking when it comes to the city of Philadelphia with the process.
That's what I said. So, he said to me, yo, I swear to God, I love that you fucking picked that up and this wasn't right. Dude, he said to me, I swear I'm going to try to find it real quick and read it word for word. He said, it's obvious that you don't understand how tanking works. I said, bro, I'm a fucking Sixers fan. I can write a book on tanking. Don't tell me I don't know what tanking is.
We had season tickets when they were $250 during all their tanking years. When they had Jakar Sampson.
I only got 2 fucking hands, and I can give you the amount of wins the Sixers had when we had season tickets. They had 9. Yeah. They had 9 wins. Don't talk to me about tanking. I know more than tanking. I know more about tanking than the entire city of fucking Chicago. Tell me about tanking.
We spent more money on parking and beers than we did on our seats.
We did. I was actually telling Kayla that the other day. She was like, Dad, we should go to a Sixers game. And I'm like, yeah, you've been to a lot of Sixers games. And she's like, I know I haven't. I was like, Kayla, you probably been to like 20 Sixers games before you were 3 years old. They weren't fun. They might not have been fun, but you went. You were there.
Dude, I always go back to it was me and Steve. We went to a game. I forgot. I think they were playing the Knicks. The Knicks or the Lakers. Me and Steve Jones, we went to a game. Dude, and mind you, the Knicks were a pretty decent team at that point. And you would think it would draw, at least a New York crowd because Philly was not coming out. And I mean, we had to be on, at the second row. We were on the second tier, first row. And all you hear is Steve yell, yo, LaVoy Allen, You're a bum. I mean, the stadium got quiet. It's like everybody heard him and just turned around. Like that, we were going to games when the Sixers were at.
Bro, do you remember Lavoy Allen?
That's what I'm
Don't
saying.
tell me. Don't tell me I don't know tanking when I watched Lavoy Allen and Tony Roten. Don't
Yeah.
do it. Fuck out of here. I will not accept that. You will not teach me anything about who did I say? Yeah, you know what I'm getting at. All right.
Yeah, we're
So
back to Chicago. My bad.
fuck Chicago. Oh, I don't want to talk about Chicago anymore. I want to talk about the
All right, well,
Packers. Christian Watson balled out again.
yeah, you listen
Watson. Go ahead.
again, and I don't think if I don't know if they are good or Aaron Rodgers just makes them good, but he's been balling out. He's somebody that would definitely, especially for fantasy purposes next year, maybe if you can get him in a later round, that's definitely a good pickup.
Yeah. Listen, he took a what did he take? He took a jet sweep or like a reverse to the crib today. I don't know. I think that one may have gotten called back. I'm not sure. I tuned out a little bit because
Nah,
I
it was a
think I was
46
arguing.
yard run. He did. It was a
Okay.
touchdown, 46-yard run.
Another listen. I've bought into these quarterbacks and I want to see them do great things. And Justin Fields isn't doing it for me. And I'm sure next year, listen, they got 100 mil plus in cap space to spend on free agency. They got a good draft pick. Who knows what the sky's the limit for them, but they got to get something going. To where the sky's the limit for them, the fucking bottomless pits of hell seems like where Russell Wilson
I
and the
knew it was
Broncos are
coming.
going.
I knew it was coming. They're
Bro,
riding down to the depths of hell.
dude, you weren't on Thursday's show. Obviously, again, you're moving. Big things
Well,
going on.
hey, hold on before you start. This would have been my toilet bowl game of the week.
It should have been it is the toilet bowl game of the week.
Listen, from here on out, every Denver Broncos game is the toilet bowl game of the week for me. It has to be. That this team is putrid. They suck.
I came on here each of the last 3 weeks, Derek, and I said I will not back the Broncos again. And then this week on Thursday, I don't know if you caught the show, but Thursday, the Broncos segment, I got it right here. Listen, I write this whole thing about how the Broncos, I won't fucking go for them. And I talked myself, I swear to God, I sent you guys my picks. I picked the Ravens. And then my game breakdown was Baltimore can't score in the red zone, especially when they're in Baltimore. They can't put touchdowns up. And Denver got the best red zone defense. And I thought that was going to play a big factor. And Denver's defense played a huge factor. And then I talked myself into it. And at the very end, I was just like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm going with Denver. The Broncos nation, let's rock. Broncos are going to win. And they fucked me again. They did it. And I don't give a damn if they're playing the Houston Texans and Davis Mills and Kyle Allen are both hurt. I don't care. I will not back the Broncos, not ever again in my life.
Dude, so this is my whole thing. Was his gameplay overshadowed by how good those Seattle Seahawks defenses were all them years? Because I just don't understand it. How he just goes from what he was to this. I don't understand it. And then on the other side of the ball, you got to think of this. Lamar, who knows, might be done for the year. I don't know. I didn't see anything about it yet. But
I don't think so. But go ahead.
We talked a lot of contract stuff with him. Their backup quarterback, I believe is Tyler Huntley. Yes. He did something that Lamar Jackson, I feel like, hasn't done in a while, and I could be wrong.
I know where you're going with it. Go ahead.
Take his team for a 91-yard winning drive TD.
That's not even where I was going. He closed out a fourth quarter game and won it.
That's what I'm saying, though.
Yeah, it's not even a 90. He could have did it from 3. Bro, he won. At the end of the day, he looked terrible. He is going to show, if Lamar is out for multiple weeks, he's going to show the true team that the Ravens are, because Lamar is the reason why the Ravens have been as good as they are. Without Lamar, that team is black. That team is bad.
Because, and this is another thing, it's coaches. Coaches put two in. Again, I could be wrong about this, but this is just my opinion. Well, let me start with that. Time coaches, they take too much credit, and they don't think that some guys that they have are key guys. Like oh, it's fine, we can get it done without them. Just throwing it out there. Look at the Patriots; they haven't been the team they are since Tom Brady left, and I kind of feel like the same thing about the Ravens. I think if the Ravens go forward, and they don't pay Lamar or they don't or whatever whatever the case may be. I think they're a team where you see this 10 points that they scored today. I think that's them going forward. I can tell you that much, because they
I
don't have
think
a
a
run
Lamar.
game. Their receivers we saw last week were dropping everything, including who we were just talking about was one of the best tight ends in the league. Mark Andrews dropped, I think, 3 passes last week. So I'm very interested to see if Lamar Jackson is out a game or two, how this team functions without him.
I think that for any Ravens fan that hopes Lamar Jackson is still on this roster next season, I think that this injury is a blessing in disguise because they didn't want to pay him. And the Indianapolis Colts are leading the Dallas Cowboys 3-0 on Sunday Night Football. The Ravens are about to get a look at what their future of next season and maybe the season beyond. I mean, next season, they're probably, I think regardless, he's back next year, maybe. I've been talking
Yeah,
myself
probably
into that because of the
franchise.
whole
Yeah,
franchise. Yep. But
yeah.
I think that they are staring into what their future could look like without Lamar. Are they going to hold teams down? Yeah, they got a good defense. They don't have the defense of the mid 2000s, but they got a good defense. They got a formidable defense that they added on to this year, right? But on offense, bro, their running backs always hurt. They don't produce. Their wide receivers suck. Their tight end is their tight end and their quarterback.
Go ahead. I was going to say, if I wasn't mistaken, either it was the beginning of this year or last year, like all three of their running backs were hurt, and I think they had to start a 4-string running back.
Bro, it's every year with this team. This team's like towards the top in injuries every single season. It's
they need to,
what
they need to look at some new
trainers.
Some new nutritionists, some new trainers.
Everything, bro.
Because they're just like you said, they're always at the top for injuries, always.
Mm-hmm. So it was tough, and talking about injury. Listen, the Ravens are still going to make. They're not going to make the playoffs.
Game. No,
they're not going to make the playoffs. No. Fuck that.
It's too many good teams. Too many better teams than them. The Titans are better than them. In my opinion,
Titans are better than them.
IMO.
You know why? You know why the Ravens aren't going to make playoffs?
Even the Dolphins losing today, the Dolphins are better than them. Yes. I know where you're going with this.
And the Bengals are better than them.
I knew you were going there.
Tom's team, the Bengals. Tom's team is back. I can't hate on them no more. They just beat the Chiefs, and they're the reason why Jalen Hurts is going to win the MVP. So thank you, Cincinnati. I appreciate y'all. Much love. But
yeah, it sucks. I have to eat crow on this one because I've been counting the Bengals out from like week 3.
I'm eating it. I told him, listen, who were the two guys I was on this week? I was on Tua and the Dolphins. I was on Mahomes and the Chiefs, and they both lost. And Tom, and I said it to Tom in a group chat before the show. I said, yo, there are the 2 losses I will take because it's going to help me in the Jalen Hurts MVP race argument. Cowboys just converted to 4th and 1.
The one thing I don't like, in terms of the MVP thing is like it's most valuable player. It's not most valuable stats guy. Look at the, at his number, and the problem is his numbers are up there. His numbers are up there. They're not, Patty Mahomes-esque. They actually might be now that he had the big game that he had today. But his team is 10-1, and it's or 11-1. I'm sorry, and it's because a huge part is because of him.
Listen, I watch Skip and Shannon every Monday I love the way them two battle. I love the way that they go back and forth. And one of the biggest things is Skip's actually on the side of Jalen Hurts, to where Shannon's on the side of Uncle Shay Sharp is for Patty Mahomes. And the biggest argument is the stats.
Uncle Shay must be on that yak. That's what he must be on.
He on that yak.
He's on that yak.
Listen. He must be. If he comes in tomorrow and tries to argue, I'm gonna be pissed. I'm gonna be upset because as of right now, there's no argument. There's no argument. It's Jalen Hurts didn't do that to Jalen Hurts didn't do that to a shit team. Jalen Hurts did
Right.
that to one of the better AFC teams. And now I'm waiting for people to discredit the Titans. I told you it's already happened. People are trying to discredit the Titans and it's Tennessee and you guys should have did that. Like, nah, fuck off. The Titans,
No
the
team,
Titans got it,
no team before us was putting points on them like that. I'll tell you that,
bro. Exact. The Titans, PFF has them graded a top 5 defense. So,
which
so
in my opinion they are.
Listen, just go down the schedule. The Chiefs put 20 on them, right? The Chiefs only put 20. The Bengals only put 20 on them just last week. Just last week, the Bengals put 20 on them. The Bills did put 41 on them, but we did what Buffalo did to them. We did what we were supposed to do.
Yeah, and I
So
mean
when
we won that game, by the start of the third quarter, well, mid third quarter. So I mean, I think we kind of let our foot off the gas. But like you said, I mean, Patty Mahomes, he had an average game today, and they lost. He had an average game, and they lost. And Joey, what Tom says, ice in the veins, Joey Burr game. He had a banging game, and the Bengals are trending in the right direction.
I was going a different direction, but let's stay here. Let's talk about that Bengals Chief game. Bengals did beat the Chiefs. It was the same, if I'm not mistaken, it was the same exact score of the AFC Championship game last year, which was 27-24. And I am turning Dallas scored 2, by the way. CeeDee Lamb got a weird play where he got tackled, but he rolled and stayed on top of the defender, gets up, walks in for a touchdown. But the Bengals, and the reason why I'm in on the Bengals now is not because they beat the Chiefs. I don't give a damn about them beating the Chiefs. I do, but I don't. I care about them beating the Chiefs and the Titans because they were both revenge games. They were both revenge games. They were the last 2 teams they faced last year in the AFC in the playoffs. The number 1 seed Titans, boom, knocked them out. Then the Chiefs, boom, knocked them out and went and lost the Super Bowl. So when you got those 2 teams, they got up for that game. The Titans got up for that game, and the Chiefs got up for that game. And the Bengals were shorthanded in both. They didn't have either Mixon or Chase last week, and they didn't have Mixon this week, and they win both those games. They are statement wins. They are. Now, that's not going to mean shit when January comes, but for right now, they are statement games. And with those wins and the Miami loss, somehow the Buffalo Bills are the 1 seed in the AFC. Just
Crazy.
like that. Bills are the 1 seed again.
Crazy.
They went up from they weren't even last week, they weren't even leading their division. Miami was. Crazy.
It's crazy.
And
they win on Thursday. Like don't even win today, and it's a great Sunday for the Buffalo Bills. How about that?
It's a huge Sunday. They didn't have to play today. They got to watch everybody else get their shit pushed in.
Yeah.
But good game between the Chiefs and the Bengals. The Bengals were able to shut down. I mean, his final stat line 4 for 56. I mean, even that is like okay, kind of got Kelsey was, for the most part, Kelsey was bottled. I've watched a whole lot of Travis Kelsey. He's one of my favorite players to watch, not to watch because just the way he plays the game. He's physical, he's athletic, he's a beast. And then I get to listen to him every Wednesday when he goes on with the greatest center of all time. But he got shut down today for his standards. Jamar Chase is back. He balled out. Who dropped that wide open touchdown? Was that Higgins or Boyd? I had texted in the group.
It was Boyd.
It was.
Tom said he got too excited.
Bro, I don't give a damn. That you make that catch. That's that team that you just beat, that could have cost you. And that team that you just beat is a formidable opponent. They're probably still, I still look at that team as probably the favorite in the AFC, even though they just lost to a mixing-less Bengals. Simply because it's that dude Mahomes. I know he didn't have the best day, but I will not. There's only one quarterback I'm taking over Mahomes this year, and that is Jalen Hurts, baby. Jalen Hurts. Hurts so good. All right. So in the Broncos and Ravens game, we got to talking about an injury to a starting quarterback, which was Lamar Jackson going out, and we had another huge game, a big game of the week. I called it game of the year, and it turned out really not to be that. Jimmy G goes down early, and it didn't matter because the Niners and Brock Purdy beat the Dolphins, and
Purdy.
the score got a little inflated later in the game, but
He's Purdy.
He's Purdy. He's pretty fucking good. 25 for 37, 210 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 pick. Now, not only was he the third string quarterback coming into the season behind Lance and Garoppolo, and then he comes into this game not even, and they always tell the backups to stay ready, whatever, blah blah blah, but he comes into this game not even expecting to play Jimmy G, and then when he does get in, he's staring across the field at the best offense in the league. And I will tell you one thing about that before I get on to the 49ers and kind of let you take the because you were all over the Niners, and I've been and you said it yourself. You didn't understand why I jumped off of the 49ers train this week, and it was because of Jimmy G. I didn't know Brock Purdy was playing. If I knew Brock was playing, I might have been on the other side. But
yeah, I knew Brock was playing, so
you just had you knew Jimmy G was going down in this game. But listen, I did jump off the 49ers just for this game because I thought that the Dolphins were gonna win. I just thought that track star, and I thought that track star offense was just going to end the first play of the game. They go for 75 yards, and they were pretty much bottled the rest of the game. But the point I was trying to get at is Mike McDaniels plays this motherfucking game like it's Madden, bro. He has the biggest set of nuts I think I've ever seen on a young coach. Right? 4th and 1 on his own 18-yard line, bro. 4th and 1 backed up in his own red zone, down 6 points with, what was it? I have it here. I think it was like 6 or 10 or something. Let me see. 4th and 1 from his own 18, down 6. He goes for it and he gets it. If he misses there, it's a guaranteed 3 points for a backup quarterback, and that puts him up 9 and makes it a 2-possession game. Instead, he goes for it. They convert. They move down the field, and they still lose the game. But shit like that dude got a huge set of grapefruits, and I just wanted to bring that was something that I seen, and I was like, what coach goes for it 4th and 1 in the fourth quarter in that situation when their defense is going up against a bat? There's just so much building into that situation to go for it there, and that motherfucker went for it, and his team made the play.
Dude, but he's like a Dan Campbell, like I was saying. He's like I saw a video today. I don't know if it was a wrong call he made or two and another guy in the huddle. Like, yeah, I fucked up. Like, you rarely see guys do that.
Chris Long tweeted that out. The coach, he said coaches don't say this, and he did. He came in and he said, guys, I fucked up, and I like that from a coach. You know why? Because the coach a coach saying that is huge. A lot of players don't get that from their coaches. The coaches are the end all be all. What I say goes. I don't fuck up. You fucked up. And when your coach comes to you and says, no, that one's on me, guys respond to that. And that's big for a locker room. That's big for, I mean, he already has the locker room. The culture in Miami has changed, and they're not. This game isn't a game that defines them. This isn't what they are, but it's what they can be if Tua don't clean his shit up. Because for real, the fucking Tua missed. I can't even count how many passes he missed, bro. He missed some big. The most accurate quarterback in the league, Tyreek. You got to answer for that this week because he wasn't accurate. If he was accurate, you guys win this game by 2 touchdowns. But because he was inaccurate, you lose this game by fucking 2 possessions and two touchdowns and 2 2-point conversions. Culture moving down the field. Holy! Oh wait, hold up.
I was just checking in on that game too.
Culture moving down the field. That boy JT needs to. That was my key coming into this game. He needs to eat. If he eats, and somebody who was I talking to? I was talking to somebody who was like, no, I was on and I want to give these guys a shout out. That he's in the Burgang League. He's what Riley was trying to be. He's a 2K pro. Dude's name's Bobby, and him and a couple of his buddies got a podcast. It's called Pick'em Fam, and I've been tuning into theirs and kind of interacting with them over the weekend. And I was talking to them about this Dallas game. Let's go, touchdown Colts, baby! And I was talking to them, and I said, don't be surprised if the Colts beat the Cowboys. And the reason why is not because I think the Colts are better. I think that the Cowboys are a fantastic team, but they're weak in the run defense, and the Colts got one of the best running backs in the league. And Trayvon Diggs got out. See, this is why Diggs can't be the best corner in the league. He gets beat too much. You don't even know the fucking wide receiver that just caught the touchdown and he beat Diggs on a fake inside slant and then cut back out to the man. I know the dude is a ball hawk, but he sucks. He gets beat too much. But my point was JT was going to ball out, and Matt Ryan, he's not what he used to be. But I said my comment on there, it said Matty Ice got one in him. And at the end of the day, he is a pro. He's not Zach Wilson. He's not Mike White. He's not these quarterbacks that he's not Kenny Pickett. He's not quarterbacks you have to worry about. You can look at Matt Ryan as a head coach, as Jeff Saturday. You can look at him and say, yo, go out there. You don't have to remind him to play safe on a national scale. He's playing in a primetime game against the Dallas Cowboys. You don't think that this dude knows, okay, I'm about to come in here. I'm going to protect the ball. I'm going to take what they give me, and I'm going to let JT and that defense do what the fuck they do. And early on, he's letting JT and that defense do, and even though the defense fucking gave up a touchdown. Colts score 10-7. And let's hold on to this. Let's get a dub. Let's get a dub out of them. All right, so the Seattle Seahawks, they did wind up winning their game. That was a game that was coming down to the wire. They beat the Rams and John Wolford 27-23, and it was an NFC West battle. It was a close game, but one that I really keyed in on, a matchup I keyed in on this game was DK versus Jalen Ramsey, and they were going at it. There was jawing, there was hand waving, and there was follow me across the field. There was Ramsey talking shit to Pete Carroll for sending him across the field, and then the game ends on the game-winning touchdown is Jalen Ramsey getting beat by DK, and it was almost poetic at the end. Did you catch any of that? Did you catch the ending of that game? You with me, D?
Yeah, I'm here.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
I caught a little bit of the game, but I mean, it wasn't one that I was really, tuned into. But again, the Seahawks were just a better team than, Jay Walford and the Los Angeles Rams. But what I was interested in was Cam Akers. But I am actually going to.
Cam Akers, he's been a weird story. He's kind of been in and out of like, is he staying? Is he going? Is he this? Is he that? And yeah, he got he got a good touchdown. Go ahead.
The thing is, what was with Cam Akers, they would say he's injured, but he's really not. But I am actually watching that touchdown, and DK just little boyed Jalen Ramsey. That's what that was. He did. He just did what he wanted to. And DK is one of those guys. Hold on. DK is one of those guys that I hate watching. I hate watching him and Justin Jefferson, and you probably know where I'm going with this. So I try not to watch DK too much.
Because they should be wearing the same shirt that I'm wearing, or the logo at least.
Exactly.
Up here. Yeah, there are two guys that we should have, could have, and would have had if we would have just fucking followed, just did what the ESPN scouts said. Not, oh my God.
I mean, listen, I'm not even a scout, but come on. I always say, get the guys from the big schools. If they have good stats, get the guys from the big schools. We love the Pac-12 for some reason.
Pac-12 don't love us.
Could you imagine if we had, let's just say, for instance, DK on one side and AJ Brown on one side? That would be like crazy. Well, now, I don't know if the cards would have flipped that way, but yeah. I'm just,
shit. Let's play the other game. Could you imagine if we had fuck? I love AJ Brown, but send him back to Tennessee if we got a chance to have DK and Justin Jefferson, and that's not far fetched. All you had to do was make the picks.
Yeah, that was a year apart. That was it.
Tough, man. And instead we took JJ Arcega-Whiteside and Jalen Reagor. who caught a pretty deep pass today, but fuck Jalen Reagor.
Nice.
All right, let's jump into the last game on the slate. It was the last game that finished up. The Raiders did beat the Chargers. They held on. They win 27-20. And D, take the reins, bro, because you've been on this team from the rip.
I've been saying it. The Raiders, and hold on, I gotta give props where props is due. Though you've been telling me, well, you've been saying on this podcast, give the rock to Josh Jacobs, because what does that do?
Yes.
That opens up the play action fee. That
Yep.
brings defenders closer, so guys like Devontae Adams can just dog them and do whatever they want. So
Did you see
get
it?
Josh Jacobs
God.
going, and then Devontae Adams is just going to say, "Oh, you're going to throw the ball to me? Just put it wherever, Derek Carr. I'll turn around.
It
I'll
don't
go
matter.
back for it. I'll one hander it. I'll just throw the ball in my direction, and I'll find it and I'll grab it." That's exactly what he's saying.
Bro. Devontae Adams is a dog. That one-handed catch he had today, or that monster catch, it didn't even count. He wound up being out of bounds, but
Yeah,
he
but it was
is
nasty.
it was, and I think what's his name had one like that today too, Jamar Chase. But Josh Jacobs, 144 yards on the ground, 1 touchdown. Devontae Adams, 177 yards, 2 touchdowns. And listen, their defense is not they're not world beaters, but they do got a defensive line that just continues to make plays. Anytime I look up and I see Crosby from the Raiders,
Yeah,
late in
I feel like
games,
he's on
this
every
dude just
play.
bro, he turns into a prime Khalil Mack. It's like fourth
Yeah,
quarter. They always pan to this dude. He's on the sideline with his psycho eyes, drinking some water, and then he comes in and fucking wrecks the game plan. This dude's a
he's
beast.
drinking the Jesus juice.
He is. I don't know. I want to know. He's got the juice that Michael Jordan had
Space Jam. Yeah,
in
that's what it
Space
is.
Jam,
The
bro.
magic
I don't.
juice. The
Speaking of the
Michael.
magic juice, speaking of the what did he say? It's not juice, it's a protein shake. Did you see that's from 51st Dates? Did you see fucking Jason Kelsey's attire today?
Yeah, yeah.
That was pretty.
They put out a thing who wore it better.
He wore it better. I mean, he didn't wear it better on the field because he got a lot of penalties today, but he did wear it better.
Yeah,
No, but listen, the Raiders, if they just continue to give the ball to Josh Jacobs, let Devontae Adams eat, don't turn the ball over, Derek Carr. You did it today, and you need to not do it because they are the fucking things that are going to hurt your team. Not only did you throw a pick, and I don't care how it happens, you threw a pick six. Okay?
right.
You opened up the game with the first. The Raiders were sloppy. They come out 3 plays, punt. They come out their next 3 plays, and they fumble. They come out their next 3 plays, they throw a pick six. Then they come out their next 4 plays, and they punt, and somehow they win that game. The Chargers stink. I wish Tom was here to tell him how much his Chargers stink, but he's not. Who was
It,
so I want to get into real quick. We all made picks this week. And I went very heavy on the underdogs that you would call them. And it bit me in my ass because I went 5-6. Tom went 8-3. And Derek, you won the week. You went 9-2. That brings your record to 15-4.
whew,
Not bad. Not bad.
not bad at all. Not too shabby.
You
Not
want to
too
know?
shabby.
You want to know my record?
I
10-9.
think you were.
Who you laughing at? I'm above 500. You know what? I'm gonna do what y'all
That's
do.
good.
I'm not
That's good.
taking no underdogs. Fuck out of it. I took the Bears. I took the Broncos.
Oh no,
I
maybe
took the
maybe
Jets.
maybe, maybe we should have switched it up and do it by line because it would make it a little bit more interesting
We can.
instead of
We can
straight
make
up.
it by line. I mean, listen, I'm not against it because it's a long season. And I am
Yeah.
on some of these teams that you guys aren't, but you guys are on some of the teams that I'm not. It's going to be interesting. Tom is right behind you. I think Tom is 11-5. So
Okay. Yeah.
no. He was 6-2, and he went 8-3. So he's 14-5.
Yeah, 14-5.
So he's one behind you, but I got some grounds to make up.
Yeah, you do.
I do. I do.
And I
But yeah,
mean,
it was.
next week's slate is kind of self-telling, if you ask me.
I want to.
I'll tell you what game.
I haven't
I'll
even.
tell you what. I know we have Thursdays, but I'll tell you a game I'm looking forward to next week:
Was
the
that
Minnesota Vikings versus your Detroit Lions.
the Detroit Lions are about to? I'm gonna be on their side again. Spoiler alert. Not only are the Vikings losing this game, but they're losing big. They are in
Oh,
Detroit.
yeah, they are
The
in Detroit.
Lions. Let's run through next week's games real quick. Thursday night's going to be a fucking snooze fest. The Raiders and the Rams, but it's a good chance to turn around and see the Raiders if they can, because that's still a good Rams defense.
Yeah,
AD might be back. I doubt it, but it's a good chance to see if they continue going. Raiders, Rams. The just first look. These won't be official picks. Who do you got?
Raiders.
Me too. Vikings, Lions.
I'm gonna say Lions for a little bit more day.
Okay, I'm taking the Lions, and I don't need no fucking prep time. Ravens, Steelers. I'm taking Pittsburgh.
Yeah, I'm taking Pittsburgh too.
Okay, Browns, Bengals. Bengals.
Oh, the Bengals. The Bengals might win that by 14 points.
Yeah, Bills, Jets.
Oof.
Mike
Give me the
White
New
is
York
going
Jets.
down. No,
Give me the Jets.
don't do it.
Give me the
Buffalo
Jets.
is reduced. They are coming off 10-day rest. They got beat by the Jets. This is a revenge game in Buffalo. This is a dub. All right. Battle of the Texans. Texans and the Cowboys. Taking Dallas.
Yeah, unfortunately.
I'm not fucking. There's only one team I'm taking the Texans over, and that's the Broncos. Eagles, Giants, the Birds.
Yeah, all day.
Titans, Jags in Tennessee. I think the Titans rebound.
I think I'm gonna keep rolling with the Jags.
Even when it doesn't work, I like it. All right. I'm gonna look dead into the camera. There will be no switch around this week. The Chiefs play the Broncos in Denver, and there's not a fucking chance that I'm taking the Broncos. If I take the Broncos, you could take my fucking children away from me because I need to be fucking put into a mental institution. I'm not even going to ask you because I know you're taking the Chiefs. Panthers, Seahawks.
No, so listen. This is what I will tell you.
Don't
This
take
is
the
what I will
Broncos.
tell you. No. I'll take the Chiefs straight up, but I will take Denver with the points. Plus 8.5.
No, they don't. How you going to take them with the points? They don't score points. They can't even
That's fine.
score.
That's fine. Maybe I could talk Tom into them being the lock of the week.
Oh God. Fucking put your wallets away, people. Don't listen to us. Nah. If Tom makes a lock of the week, all right. So Chiefs, Panthers, Seahawks.
Give me the Seahawks.
I'm with you. Bucks, Niners. Ooh.
Bucks and Niners.
That's
Tampa Bay
listen, that's gonna be a much closer game, I think, than people are expecting.
I think give me the Niners. Tampa Bay coming off a short week. I think I'm still going Niners.
Okay. Chiefs Broncos got flexed out of Sunday Night Football, and they flexed in Dolphins Chargers. That's going to be. I would like next Sunday's show to be wrapped up by halftime because that's going to be a good game. Dolphins Chargers.
Give me the Chargers.
I might be with. It's in LA. Not that means anything. They don't have no home field advantage, but I might be there with you. I don't know. I got to look into that one. Last game of the week, Monday Night Football next week. Patriots, Cardinals.
Give me the Cards.
What? You are.
Yep.
I'm making some ground up against you this week. I don't care what nobody says.
Like I said, they're not official picks.
Oh, they're not. But if you make that your official pick. All right. So before we head out, there is one other game that we got to look into. And you mentioned it. Saints, Bucks. We haven't even Dude, I haven't looked in. Honestly, I haven't looked into this game. I don't need to look into this game. I once lost a ton of money on the Bucks going against the Saints, and the Bucks were only able to score fucking what was it, 0 points, and the Saints won. They scored 9. It was like 9-0 or some shit. I already know what this game's going to be. This is going to be a fucking. This game's not going to score more than 30 points combined. It's going to be a defensive battle. Brady's going to fucking get like Cam Jordan and them boys are gonna violate him like they always do. You got anything on this game, D?
The only thing I have is that I feel like this is your nightmare game because it takes you back to that time. But again,
$1,000.
I'm right with you. Yeah, I'm right with you. I think New Orleans, they always play up, when it comes to Tom Brady. So I think it's going to be the same thing. But I do think Tampa Bay will get it done. I will say that. We need New Orleans to start losing. We really do. So,
well, they lost last. I think our picks at like number 6 now, number 6 or 7.
Yeah, I would love it to be top 4 though.
I will be all over the fucking Bucks tomorrow. I will be a Bucks fan tomorrow. I'll go buy a Brady jersey if it means they win and it helps our draft pick. Let's go Bucks.
Let's go Buccaneers.
You're not in any fantasy leagues, are you, D, anymore?
Nah. No fantasies.
I'm
maybe next season we could start one for the pod,
I like that. I think we are going to do that.
Get some of the viewers involved in everything,
And see, yeah, because everybody got opinions, but put the money up and then your opinions could count. Yeah, all right, so I think unless there's anything else you wanna jump on, D, I think we covered it all.
Yeah, but I do think that'd be a good idea. The fantasy league and us three, all the team would just be our team, 1, 2, 3, and we have to pick the team collectively. That'd be kind of cool to see.
So us versus the field kind of thing,
right? Us versus the fans. It give maybe a 10-team or 12-team league.
That could be in more than just that. Could be. I mean, all the seasons have started and are effectively underway. But yeah, I'm with that. I think the next NFL season, next NBA season, we could probably do that.
I know there's a playoff one you can do on CBS. Maybe we get that rolling before playoffs start. We'll get a nice little. Yeah, we'll get something out to the field and make it competitive and cool so everybody can kind of get in on the end.
Can you beat the dads?
Yeah, can you beat the dads? There you go.
I don't think so. All right, so. I appreciate everybody tuning in. We're gonna keep it a little bit shorter tonight. But I appreciate everybody tuning in. You could catch us again Thursday, 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And again, next Sunday, same time, same place, recapping the same league. And I promise it's just the NFL is just so wild right now, but we do have plans to get into it's. Listen, we didn't call this the Philthy Dad NFL pod. It's the Philthy Dad pod. So we will be getting into other topics and stuff like that. It's just, listen, the NFL is king, baby. D, you got any closing remarks?
No, just like you said, right now, the NFL is what everybody's kind of watching. We will start sprinkling the NBA and NHL and everything that everybody's interested in, but we're kind of trying to figure out, because this is new to us, how to kind of get a gauge on everything at the same time. Because at the end of the day, we are dads first, and podcast kind of comes after that.
Listen,
we're trying to put in all the work.
Exactly. We have cut our average show when we first started. Our first 4 shows were an average of like 2.5 hours plus. And we've now cut it down. The last 2 shows have been under 2 hours. And that's where we want to be. It's easier to, we get everything in. We don't go crazy. But listen, sometimes we get lost in the sauce. And I'm not talking about Gardner. Yeah. We get lost in the sauce talking, and we appreciate you guys joining us. Please keep sharing, subscribing. Get your other friends in. Let's talk some shit to each other. Let's get some feelings out there. And we appreciate everybody for stopping in. And we will catch you guys on Thursday. Peace out.